All right, so we should all have our paper plate. If you do not have a paper plate, you should have a circle piece of paper. You will have a lead pencil, some colored pencils, which is loads of fun. And then if you have them, this is optional, you can have some textures. If you don't have textures, we're just using colored pencils, but textures are optional if you want to color instead with texture rather than pencil. We are making a Salvador Dali, who is a very famous surrealist artist. His artworks are dreamlike. So his dream was that he saw a clock melting away. So if you can see, it kind of sits like this, and all of the numbers melt down to the bottom. Same with my big hand and little hand, it melts to the bottom. So what we're going to start off by doing is we're going to do the background. Think about a border on the outside of your paper plate, your clock. See my border? I have a nice strong colored border. If you want to use a texter, you may use a texter or a pencil. So we're going to right around the edge, just a little bit. See if you can see how it starts with these lines here, but this bit doesn't have those lines. Try and color in this bit that doesn't have the lines all the way around. If you have a circle, just make it a tiny little border all the way around. So we're coloring in that top little bit to make our background colors. And again, remember with pencils, if we are drawing on the side of our pencil, it will do more area and therefore it is like shading. We'll be able to color and cover more area quicker. Tip of our pencil for drawing, side of our pencil for shading and coloring. It will be a lot easier for you. You're going to do it on the table. Coloring it in all the way around. I'm going to do it quickly in pencil and then I'll show you if you have texture, what it will look like in texture. Right. So this is my pencil version. See how it's all the way around the edge. So it should look like this. If you are going to do it in texture, same thing. With your texture, you're going all the way around the edge. All the way around. Nice big color. It's probably easiest if you put it on the table, stabilize it with your other hand, and then color it with that hand. If you're using paper, circle paper, it might be a bit easier for you because it's flat. Whereas these paper plates are not flat. Sit up a little bit. Getting all the edges. Try and make it as neat as you can. Make sure to turn it when you're going to the edge. So we do a little color, we turn. We do a little bit more color and we turn. Rotating it all the way around so we get all those edges. And if you can, come back with a line. Awesome, good job. Come back and just color in and make that line really neat. So you can just outline just the edge of it. See how these edges that I have here, they're a little bit wobbly. I'm going to try and make them nice and straight. Straighten out your edges. This might take just a little bit of time just to make it nice and neat. Oh, that looks so good. We've all got some edges. Awesome. I'm liking these edges. I'll give you a little bit longer to finish off that coloring. We're getting just the outer bits so that it has a little border. Oh, I can see that my edge here is not very good, is it? I'm going to have to go in and fix that. Nice and neat. Oh, very good, Isaac. Good job. There we go. Oh, look, I love it. We've got the Salvador Dali clock up. That's so good. Yes. Awesome. We've got the outside, outside, outside. Alrighty. I think we are up to the next step. So the next step, if we have a look at this one here, I have sectioned it off into some shapes. See how the top shape is a triangle, but as they get further down, they get a bit wobbly because they're melting away. So we're going to do a V into the center. First thing we need to do is locate where your center is. So have your plate. Let's pick a center spot. So what you can do with your finger is just put it where you think the center is, and then put a little pencil dot just there, just a little one, so you can tell where your center is. Don't worry if it's off center a little bit, that's okay. We just want to put a little dot. Right in the center. Awesome, good job, amazing. Then you're going to pick a color. I would suggest you use a colored pencil. Pick any colored pencil you like. I'm going to pick green. From that little dot, you're going to draw. I'll draw mine a bit darker. I don't want you to draw yours this dark, but it's just so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to draw a line and then another line in a V shape. Nice straight lines, and then we're going to color in this whole section here. So do not color it as dark as I just did. Make yours nice and neat because we want it to be a nice, subtle background. Remember, when we're coloring with the side of our pencil. We're drawing with the tip of our pencil. Right up until that dot. And when we're coloring, we want to make sure that there's no white spaces. So make sure you color that whole area and there's no white. If you're using the same paper plate as I'm using, you'll see there are some ridges. This might be a little difficult for a bit. What you'll just have to do is put it on the table, flatten it out, hold it down with your fingers and color in those areas. Do not worry, this paper plate is quite sturdy. It will bounce back, but we need to be a little tough with it so that we can get into those crevices. So really squish it down. See, I'm pushing down and turning, and then I color. Really getting in that area. No white spaces, remember, we want to see all color. You actually might need a sharpener after this because your pencil may go a little blunt because we are coloring a lot of area. And again, nice, flatten it out and coloring in all of those areas. You should have a very solid color that is not melting. This is the non-melty part of the clock. This is the top of the clock. As we come down, the rest of the clock is going to melt together. So we're coloring away. My sharpener is coloring away. Do you have a question? Sorry, all right, give me 1 second. Okay, Hitesh has a question. Yes?
What about if your plate, if you look carefully on mine, it's got grid on it?
Is yours paper or?
No, it's plastic.
Yours might be a little bit harder. You can give it a go.
Because I'm drawing in the inside, not the outside. So there's grid here.
What I would suggest is keep using Texta. You won't be able to use pencil. I think it'll still work. We might have to see if we can bend it. So at the end, it might not bend as well, but it's worth a try. All right.
I can touch it and then bend it.
Oh yeah, we could do that. Could you please mute yourself, please? All right, I'll just answer 2 more questions. Emily, you have a question?
Well, you kind of do it kind of quick to me. I was first coloring this, but you're kind of quick for me.
Sorry, it's okay. That's why I'm asking some questions, so letting you guys ask questions so you guys can keep coloring in. I'm a bit quick. I've been doing it for a little bit. I'll let you have a bit of time to catch up. All right, next question. Yuchen. Emily, could you mute, lovely? Thank you.
Can we use crayon?
Yeah, definitely. Crayons.
Is that you?
If you have crayons, you may use crayons. They work very well. Could you mute for me, please, Yuchen?
Okay.
And everyone that has just asked a question, hands down. The last question will be Millie. Millie, what was your question?
Slow down.
Yeah, sorry, I will slow down. I'm sorry about that. I'll slow down. I won't color as quickly. Tegan, if you have a question, you have to put a little hand because otherwise I can't click on you. We're just coloring in our little area. Ah, there we are. Okay, Tegan, what did you need?
Can we add decorations?
Of course. Do you want to add decorations? You could add some toucans. You could have some love hearts. But don't forget, the decorations in this part, they're normal shaped. But then they come down to here. We're going to squish them and make them a bit longer so that they look like they're melting. Alrighty, let's put our hand back, please. Thank you. I've got 2 circles, awesome. So I'm going to wait a little bit. How are we going with the coloring? We've got a triangle, we've got a triangle. Thumbs up if you are ready to move on to the next bit. Not that page. All right, okay. I will wait just a little bit. If you are moving on, very same option, you're just making another triangle off of it. So we're just going to wait just a little bit because some people are not finished just yet. What you can do if you're finished, really go through and make sure that color is nice and bright. We can color back on top of it. Get in all those crevices. I do color very quickly. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next color. Pick a color, any color, it is completely up to you. I'm going to pick purple. Next thing we are going to do, off from the side here, this one is going to melt a little bit. So let's draw your line, melting a little bit. Now, it doesn't matter where it goes as long as it melts. See how it's a squiggly line? Going to do a squiggly line. It doesn't have to look the exact same. It just has to look like it's falling down or squiggling down towards the bottom. So it's going, oh no, it's squiggling. And then yet again, we will color this whole section here. I'll go nice and slow with you guys. I'll color the whole section in. Coloring and coloring and coloring. When you're coloring, it's a good idea to use even pressure. So try and color using the same force with your hand. And also, when you're coloring, hold onto your paper. So when you're coloring, it doesn't just go around everywhere. We stabilize it and then we color in with our pencil. Nice, long coloring. A good tip as well would be try and color all in one direction. If you color left, right, up, down, sometimes it looks a bit messy. If you tend to color in the same direction, it can look a little bit neater or intentional, so like you did it on purpose. So you chose to color that direction and make it look that way. So we're coloring, coloring. Get in all of those little areas. See how I choose to do sections? I go a little bit here, and then I do another little section, and I keep moving up. Makes it a bit easier. Helps me to cover a lot of area. I do a little area, another section, and so on and so forth. Keep coloring. If you accidentally go outside of your line, do not worry, it is all good. You will just color the next color over the top of that. make sure you color all the way to the edge so that you get these bits here. Do we have a couple more questions? Oh, Albert, that looks so good. All right, Ruhi, do you have another question, lovely?
So next time, are you gonna paint some stuff?
Next time is painting, yes.
All right.
All good. All righty. Keep coloring. Waresh, did you have a question? What's your question?
Are we gonna do painting?
Yeah, next week. Next week's the painting activity. Have we colored in all of our sections? How are we going with this little section here? Hitesh, is your question related to this activity here? Yes or no? No, well then we'll leave it for a little bit. We'll leave that for the end. Make sure that we're just asking me questions related to this activity here just for today. At the end, I can answer some other questions because this will take a little while to do. So we're going to make sure I color it all nice and fully colored. Ah, amazing. I'm liking all of these shapes. They're looking so good. All right. If you want to move ahead, it is again the same thing. Pick another color and you are going to do a melty straight down. Oh, I broke my pencil. Straight down melty. From the dot all the way down, right down, like so. And then you're going to color that section in as well. And we're coloring. If you have your hand up and I've already answered your question or we're going to ask it again at the end, could you please put your hand down if that is okay? Ah, it looks so cool. They're all looking so good. Waresh, could you put your hand down, lovely? Thank you so much. We're coloring in these areas. And again, remember you support your paper or your paper plate as we have, and you are coloring in. On the side of your pencil will mean that you cover a lot of area quicker. We have to flatten it out so that we can get into these areas here. Getting all of those little areas nice and colored in. Isaac, you have a question?
What happens if you go out of the lines of that color?
That's okay. Just make sure the next color is a little bit darker so that you can cover it over. Because when we have light colors, we can't cover dark colors with light colors, but with you can cover a light color. And it works quite well. Isaac, could you mute for me if that's okay? Thank you so much for your question. That was a very good question. So like this, I'll show you an example. I've accidentally gone outside the line now. Oh, you can't even see it. I have accidentally gone outside the line. I'm going to pick a dark color. So a dark color is this one here. And this will be my next color that goes over that. I'll just quickly color over to show you what I'll do. So once I color over it, you can't see it at all anymore. That'll be my next area. If we are on to the next step, amazing, Chantel, you've moved ahead. Pick another color for that area. Next step, we keep going around. We're going to do 2 more colors. So this color, I would say do it melting, but sort of melting to the side. Like that if you need to. We're going to color this whole section one color and that whole section another color. Nice and dark. Mine is dark so that I colored over that area that I accidentally went out of the line. Coloring, 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 getting all of those white spaces. You may need to sharpen your pencil halfway through this coloring because our pencils go a little blunt because they're coloring so much area. If you have a crayon, that's amazing. Your crayon would be able to do this nice and quickly. Oh my gosh. Sometimes we need to blow away the dust. So we do make a lot of rubbish doing this. Lots of mess. It's got all those little pencil filings. Oh, my pencil broke. All those little pencil filings. Make sure you empty out your pencil, your sharpener, because otherwise that happens. Your pencils break. While you're coloring so good, I have to sharpen my pencil again, but that's all right. We will get there. Oh, no pencil broke. Always have a backup pencil. Makes life easy. It's not the same color. So we're coloring away. Coloring, coloring, coloring. Getting all of that done. Tegan has a cool hat on. Awesome, that looks so good. Yes, and pick the last color for that last section. What do you want for that last little section? What color would you like? Maybe my pencil not working was a good thing for you guys. You've all beaten me. You're ahead of the game now. Now I have to catch up to you, but that's okay. We're coloring in all of these little areas, making sure that you're getting every little crevice. Spreading it out and then coloring it in. Sometimes you'll find it where it doesn't spread properly, so you just have to change your pencil angle. See how I can't get into these little nooks up the top? What I'll do is I'll just come back and do little circles inside of it. Help me to get into that area. Be careful if your hands are sitting and leaning on the color, you might end up with some color in here. If that happens, just wash your hands really lightly at the end of class. Sometimes we end up leaning on our colors and then we get them all over our face. All right, so we should be up to the last color. Time to color in that last little spot, whatever color you feel like. I'm going to go with yellow. I think yellow is a good idea. Coloring in your last little area. We don't have to draw a line for the last area because it already has 2 lines on either side. Making sure that we've colored the whole area. There's no white spaces. Coloring, coloring, coloring. I'm really going to get the inside of this because I made it a bit dark. And I want to make it really stand out with the yellow. So we should have a really bright and fun colored plate or piece of paper if you have a circle piece of paper. Coloring in all of the crevices, all of the little areas. I don't know how everyone's going. Awesome. Some of us got it. Yes, awesome. Look at those. They're looking so good. Some of us are still going. Give us a little bit longer. These are looking awesome. All right. So let's make sure that all of our colors are nice and clear. You can't see any little white spaces. Got it all colored in. This one's a little, my pencil's not working. Yours will look better than that one for me because mine's a little broken, but that's okay. It's just our background. If you want to come back to it and give it some more color, just go over the top of it again. Okay, are we ready to move on to the next step? Actually, hold up your work if you're ready to move on to the next step. Or thumbs up, it's up to you. Holding up the work, awesome, awesome. All right, I've got one. Ooh, we're looking so good. Yes, 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 awesome. All right, we'll just wait 2 little seconds longer for a couple of people. They're looking so cool. Amazing. Emily, there's no color on yours. What are you doing? Where's your color? Oh, it's very light, is it? I can't see it. That's what happens with cameras, doesn't it? It makes it very light. I can see it. It looks awesome. Oh, look at that one. Asia. Jennifer, your colors are bright. Isaac, look at your bright colors. Awesome. Yes, Millie's got colors. Chantel, if you need a question, you've got to put the little hand on the symbol. Otherwise, I can't unmute you. We've got some awesome, cool colors. They're looking so good. Okay, we're going to move on to the next step. The next step, if you have a texter, this will be good. Otherwise, you can use a dark colored pencil. So whatever color you have here, I want you to use a darker color than that. So you could use a purple or a black or a really dark blue. Or if you have a texter will work really well. So I'm going to use a texter. And we're going to do a number 1 and 2. So at the top of the clock is always a 12. So pretend that that's the top of our clock. We're going to draw a nice big 1. If you want to do a nice squarey 1 at the top of our clock. Nice big 1. This one is not melted. Remember, this is at the top of the clock. We'll try and keep this one as big as possible. I'm going to change my texture. I don't like my color. I might do this color instead. Nice big 1. Yeah, that's better for me. We've got our 1. Then next to it, to make a 12, we need to put a 2. Same size. So I start off by drawing it like this and then making it thicker. I just go along the edges, make it a bit thicker. Make it a bit thicker. And we've got a thick number 2. Awesome, looking so good. Yes, we've got some 12s. They're looking so cool. Yes, good job. Oh my gosh. Amazing, amazing. Albert's got his 12 with some cool patterns on it as well. Okay, we're going to move on to your next number. So the next number is number 1. And the number 1 needs to feel like it's kind of fallen down a little bit. So we're going to go, all right, number 1 on the clock is usually here, isn't it? We're going to fall. So we'll put it around this area somewhere. It does not have to be a very neat number 1. It has fallen. Let's try and make it melt a little bit. So I did a little squiggly line, and I'm just going to thicken up my squiggly line. You're going to make your number 1 melt a little bit. Oh, he's a bit melty. Like it's gotten too hot. And he's running out. Little melty one. Silly little one. You've got your 12, your 1 fell off. That little silly one. Awesome. Then we're going to keep doing this. What I think is a good idea, number 6 is directly below 12. So we're going to start by putting our number 6 where 12 is. We'll go directly down the bottom. I'm going to put a number 6 down the bottom, right in the center, directly below 12. Now remember, this bottom bit is where it's the meltiest. So let's make this number 6 really wobbly. Really wobbly, like he's melting away. So what you could do is make the bottom of it thicker. So he's melting to the bottom. He's melting, melting. And really make that dramatic. A really melty number 6. If we were trying to get our pen license, this number 6 would not get us our pen license, would it? But it is fun because it's nice and melty. Awesome, yes, so melty, good job. What you can do if you want to go ahead, we're going to put the next numbers in row here. So we've got 1, we're going to do 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 and 5, I want you to make really close to number 6 because that's where they're falling to the bottom and melting. So we can do a number 5 really close to number 6. My number 5 is melted right next to number 6. Oh, someone's getting the pen license. That's so exciting. Melty number 5. Oh no, it's too hot for me, he says. And he's melting away. Then I'm going to maybe put my 4. I'm just going to map out where my 4 is going to go. Probably going to put my 4 there. So I'll make a melty number 4. Oh. Oh. She's melting. My 4s might look a little bit different to you. If you don't have the space, put them on top of each other. They're melting. It's all good if they're touching. Maybe yours have just really melted off. It's a very, very hot day. This is all about dream-like drawings. So your dream is different to the person next to you's dream. So if your numbers are touching, maybe your dream is just a little bit hotter. It's a little bit more melty. Yeah, and then I'm going to put 2 and 3 here. So I'm going to put my 2, not too far off my 1 because it's fallen a little bit, but not too much. And my number 3, it's not too fallen, it's all right. But my 4 and 5 really, they've really just dropped off. Don't worry about making neat numbers because we are making them melty. So we want them to look a little messy so that they're melting away. Little melty numbers. Yes, oh good, that looks so good, Adelaide. We've got our melting numbers melting away on the side. They do not need to be neat. Also, your numbers do not need to be where my numbers are. The only thing you really need is number 12 at the top and number 6 at the bottom. Everything else can kind of fall its way within there. If you have a number that's fallen off down here, you've just accidentally knocked your clock and the number has fallen all the way off. Oh, yes, that's good. Awesome. Yes. Good job, Tesh. Good job, Nishka. I like those. Those numbers are very cool. Millie, that's looking awesome. Oh, awesome. All right. I don't have a lot of time to ask too many questions. So can I double check the 2 girls that have questions? Are they relevant to this activity? Can we ask them at the end? Because we need to get this finished. Is that okay? All right, so the next thing we are going to do on the other side, we need to do the other numbers. So I'm going to do my number 7, not too far from my number 6, and it's going to also have a little bit of a melty top to it. Got my little melty number 7. Some people do number 7s differently. I do mine like this. If you don't do yours like that, that's okay. You might have a number 7 that looks like this one. Both number 7s are correct. Some people just draw them a little differently. Someone's already done. Amazing. If you're already done and you have time to spare, you could potentially outline your numbers if you wanted to. With all of the clock, oh my gosh, you did the hands as well. You are very fast. Ah, these are looking so good. All right, we've got number 7, then we need a number 8. With number 8, can I suggest? So number 8 usually has, I'm going to use this as an example. Our number 8 usually looks somewhat similar in shape. Let's make him melt by doing a really little top and a really big bottom. And make it really stand out by making it really thick at the bottom and quite small at the top. So then your number 8 would look like this. And you can add a little wobble underneath it so that it looks like it's melting away. See how mine's got a little wobble at the bottom, like it's dripping? So we can make our number 8 drip a little bit. So I'll draw in my number 8. What are you, a little wobbly? Whoa. Doesn't matter how neat it is, just as long as you kind of get all of those areas colored in. And you've got your little melty number 8. It's melting, disappearing. I made mine a little bit too messy for my liking, so I have to go back and make it a bit neater. So cool. Awesome. Melting clock. Then I have to fit 9, 10, and 11 all in here. Again, like number 1, number 11 isn't too far off number 12 because it should still somewhat be in a similar position. So I'm going to do a normal one. Then I'm going to do one that's fallen off a little bit. So I've got my melty number 11. Hey, that looks so cool, yes. And last one, we've got to get 9 and 10. I'm going to put my, where can I put my number 9? I think I might put my number 9 here. It's fallen over a little bit. Drop it in. Dropping number 9. Make sure with your numbers that you go back and you can outline them just a little bit, make them look really drippy. Add some really cool drips. Ooh, he's a bit drippy there. A little bit more. Making sure it's all nice. Depending on how thick your pencil or texture is, you may have to go over your colors again. So go through your numbers, have a look, see if they are bright enough. If you need to, go over them again. Make them a little darker. Color in your numbers again just to make sure they're nice and dark. Not missing any of our little spots. I'm missing a number still. I still need to do number 10. And then I've got a big 0 here. I've got my number 10. You should have something somewhat looking like this. going to see how everyone's going. If you're still doing your numbers, that's all good, all fine. Don't move up to the hands yet. I'll have to give you an example. Oh, that looks so cool. Some of these clocks are very melty. No, you're not ready yet. All good. You keep going. That's all right. Oh, some of us have moved ahead, got some melty clocks. Awesome. Oh, I like the colors you have behind yours. They're very cool. All right. How many people are ready to move on to the next step? Thumbs up if you, or I mean, actually just have your work up if you are. Awesome, awesome. Yes, yes, yes. All right, we've got a couple of people still going. If you fall behind in this, it's all good. All you might need to do is just watch it on YouTube to finish it off. What I will do is show us how to do the melty clocks. Then the last step will be bending it around so that it melts on a table. And I'll show you how we can sit it. Oh, and then also, sorry, defining these areas. So let's grab a different colored pencil or texter. Pick something brown or, oh, your clock frame is melty. I like that idea. That is a very good idea. Pick a color that is either brown or black or like a darker burgundy sort of color, because you want to do maybe even a purple, because we are doing the clock in the middle, the hands. So where you found your center, we're going to do our little circle for the center of our clock. Dotting out your center of the clock. What time is it now? Maybe we can do the time now. It is 5:40. We could do the time now if you like. So we have a clock going with our big hand going this way, sort of towards the 11. It'll be a little bit off because obviously our clock is not right. So we might do, at the top, you'll start with a triangle, but we'll start off at the edge of our triangle. This bottom half of our triangle, we're going to put into this. Color that triangle in. That's where you want, wherever you want your number to be. You can put it at 12, you can put it at 11, 2, it's up to you. Oh, it's very good, I'm liking this. And you're going to melty it all the way into the center. Awesome, looking so cool. We're going to do a melty. Following along, do a little bit of a melty into the center and make it thicker. Make sure that your clock hand is the same thickness the whole way down if you can do it, because it'll look more realistic. So that's my clock hand. Next thing I think we should do, I would like to, let's see if we can add a little drip off of our clock hand. So coming down, a drip looks like this. You've got your, I'm going to do a pretend triangle here. A drip will look like a long, and then it'll go a little skinny and then come back up this way. So our little drip will look like this. We'll go down, drip it around, take it back up. Let's see if we can draw that kind of shape on your clock hand, falling off your clock hand. So we've got, follow the corner of that, take it down, little drip, take it back up again. Like our clock is melting. Then you have a little melty clock. So am I. Everyone must be very hot. Melting clock. Then we're moving on to a different one. It is up to you which way we put our next hand, but let's try and make it really wobbly. Start with your triangle, where you want your triangle to reach. My triangle is going to melt on my number 5. This is the point of my clock. It has melted on my number 5. It's not really a triangle anymore. It's very squishy. Very squishy little clock. And then you take it down from your hand. Make it nice and even. Decently thick so you can see it. Now, if you have a look, I've somewhat lost my little circle in the middle, haven't I? Let's make that little circle in the middle a little bit bigger so we can see what's going on. Make it a little bit bigger. So then it stands out a little more. Makes it really look like a clock in the center. So really make that circle in the center nice and big. We've got our melty clock. Next step of drawing, what I want you to do, using your color. Actually, just see everyone's going. If you have a question, I can't click on you unless you put up the little specific hand icon. I'm sorry. I can't find you in the participants to unmute you. You need to put up the little hand. Okay, the next step we are going to do is we are going to go back to these paper color, pencil colors that you've chosen, and I want you to outline that area. So on this edge here, nice, strong colored outline. Nice, strong colored outline. So nice and thick. Really defining that edge. This ties it in all together because it gives it that nice, thick edge. Really outlining that area. If you are like me and you tend to push very hard with your pencil and your pencil breaks, just blow it away. So really getting that area so that it really stands out, that edge. Same with this one. See how I'm choosing the darker colors to do the line with? So if I do it with the green color that I have here, because it's so light, I can't see it. So I picked this color that's a little bit darker. Same with this one. This color is too light. I'm going to pick this color to use, which is a little bit darker, and I'll be able to see the edge of that a lot better. So I'll go along the edge again, really outlining that area, really outlining this area, nice and dark, all the way along. And this one here. All the way along. And then finally, we'll do that one last color up there. Nice and dark on the edge. Like so. So we should almost all have this completed. We should be pretty close to done. And the last step is just folding it. So what you're going to do is you're going to have it in front of you. Put it down flat on the table. Start at the bottom. And we're going to curl it up a little bit. Just a little bit. Give it a bit of a curl. Give it a little bit of a curl so it has that little melty sense, like everything's fallen into the bottom of a bag. A little bit of a curl, not too much, just enough. And it should sit kind of like this. It sits up. Yeah, awesome, good job. And then the next one, you're going to go where your number 12 is. I want you just to fold it back in half. Where the number 12 is, we're just going to fold it in half. Not in half, sorry, fold it back. Just where the number 12 is. So then it has like a little lip. So that when you put it on a table, you can sit it somewhere like this. Put it on a table like it's melted off the edge of the table. And that is your melty clock. You can sit it on a table. That's my table. I'll sit it on the iPad. You can sit it on the iPad and it looks like so. Like it's melting off the iPad. Yay! Would you like to show me all of your melty clocks if you have finished them? Jennifer, I like that. That's looking very good. Emily, very cute. I'm liking it. Yes, Ruhi, very pretty. Very good. Ah, look at all these clocks. Millie, yours is so good. Tegan, it's adorable. Diesel, I love how all of yours are fallen together. They're looking very good. Oh, these are cool, Chantel. Your numbers are very like squiggly. Someone's clock looks like a cake. I like that idea. Yes, it does look like a cake. like little sections of strawberries. Albert, yours is awesome. Nishka, I really like your clock hands. They're really cool. Hitesh, good job working that out on that plastic. That looked really well. Addie, that's cool. That's some cool effects that you got going on there with those colors. Melanie, that looks awesome. Oh, Adelaide, very good. Varesh, going very good. Benedict's, that's a cool hand as well. Angelique, yours is so melty. They're looking so cool and so fun. Dennis has managed to put his inside of a TV. That looks really cool. These are so good. Melanie, yours looks lovely. Angelique, did you want to hold yours up? That looks so fun. All right. Okay, lovelies. Well, it is almost the end of class. There's just 4 minutes left. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Ruhi, would you have a question? What's your question, lovely? You got to unmute.
I actually didn't have a question. I don't know how the hand got up.
Oh, that's okay. Well, it was up now and you had fun. Okay, next one. Emily, what was your question, lovely?
I don't really like mine. It's kind of ugly. Well, it's
Background
a
next.
bit small.
That's
I
okay.
don't
We
really
can-
like mine. Really, like, I could try again.
Yeah, of course. You can always try again. You can watch. Awesome. All right, I'm going to ask some more
Yay,
questions. Please
helicopter.
hop back on mute for me, Emily. All right, Isaac, what was your question?
It's not a question, but it's basically like Dr. Zeus.
Yeah, pretty much. Very similar. So I think Dr. Zeus would have taken inspiration from the Salvador Dali, which are called the Surrealists. All right, let's see. Dennis, I might get your question next.
Next week, what type of paint are we gonna use?
Next week, the artwork is themed off of, I cannot say her name very well, Yokio Kashuma. Have you seen the pumpkins where they do lots of dots on the pumpkins? It's a very famous artist. She was down in Canberra. She had a gallery show. We're going to do those sorts. So we're going to draw a bunch of cool shaped, weird looking pumpkins, do some backgrounds, add some patterns of dots and different colors.
Okay.
It'll be fun. All right, we're going to do last question because it's almost time to leave. Hitesh,
On the paints,
the paints,
If-
yeah.
what about if you don't have a paint?
You might be able to use Texstar, but it probably won't work as well. I would suggest if you go to Kmart, you can get little packets that are pretty cheap. Sometimes they're $5, I think.
Yeah, because my dad works at Kmart, so it's 10 times easier.
Amazing. Get some Kmart paints. They work really well. Awesome. All right. I lied. I can do one more question. Albert. Nope. Albert does not have a question anymore. Albert
Can I
does have.
go?
Yeah, we're all done if you want to leave.
Okay. Bye.
Albert. Lovely. See ya.
Are you allowed to make a stand for your clock? Because mine won't stand up.
No, it won't stand up. So what you need to do is you either need to get a little bit of blue tack or you need to get like a piece of sticky tape and you get it and you just stick it on the edge of something. So it should just sit on the edge of a table like so. So it needs to sit at a flat edge and sit on the top there. Or if you wanted to, you could ask your parents and put it on your fridge, but you just bend this number 12 back up again so that it sits like that. All right, guys, I'm going to say that this is the end of class because it is less than a minute to go. I would love you to hold up your artworks and I can say goodbye and we all wave goodbye to each other because these are so fun. I hope you all had a really fun time. Thank you for coming to class. I'll see you next week. They look so good. I
Bye.
love them.
Bye.
Oh, you still have a lot of paint now. Bye.
Bye. Next week. Bye, Miss Lauren.
Bye.